Today I'm joined by the radiant, beautiful Charlie Mull, an energetic activator based in London who helps brilliant, bright souls reconnect with their ancient gifts, weaving more magic into their lives. Charlie's work is all about embodiment, deep connection, and awakening the power from within. In this episode, we dive into her journey, my journey, and the magic of energetic activation, and how reclaiming your soul gifts can transform your life in ways that you could never imagine. Get ready for this beautiful, heart-expanding conversation.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you.
You look glowing.
Do I? Oh my gosh, I don't feel it, honestly. What is it? I know we were just saying this, but what is it in the air? I have not been sleeping. Like, I'm not a bad sleeper, and then the last week, really weird things have been happening. So I want to tell you about them. So we always shut the doors in our house when we leave the house. We came back the other day and the doors were open. And then
Wait, so you mean like, say, for example, the lounge door you'd shut?
so you come into the house and you've got the outdoor door, and then you go into a porch, and then you go through it, and then there's the door there, and that was open, and we always have it shut. And then also there's a picture on Grace's windowsill on her side of the bed, and I woke up and it was on my side of the bed facing down.
Okay, you definitely got spirit or spirits.
Really?
Of course you have. You know you have.
I know, but I'm like, do I? And then this like medium messaged me on Instagram being like, you've got spirits around you trying to tell you something, they want you to listen. And I'm like,
Ooh.
but what do they want me to know?
What do you think they want you to know?
Well, I feel like I am closing lots of doors and opening lots of new doors at the moment, but I'm a bit resistant to it. I even get like a bit like weird energy in my body really when I like think about it. I'm like, oh, let's get a bit fidgety.
No, I get it, because I think we're similar in this way. I'm always like, show me more. I always think in terms of spirit, show me more, show me all. I want to see this, I want to see that. And then particularly if something happens at night and it's quite alarming and different, I start saying my prayers. I'm like, protect me, protect me, protect me, protect me. And then I think, oh, I'm blocking it out. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Having that discernment.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't want to block it out. I want to
No.
welcome. I want to be like, come. I think maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to do a practice and be like, you're welcome here. Like, be at peace here. Like, come and like visit us and be here.
Yeah, and I guess trusting yourself that if at any point something felt off, you can protect yourself.
Yeah. Trust is a difficult one though. I'm really struggling with that actually at the moment. Not trusting, it's not trusting within others, it's trusting in myself. And I know that you do loads of work with this. You actually, I always tell you, don't I? But you always like help me, encourage me to embrace my gift. And that just comes with trust, doesn't it?
Yeah, do you know what I find mad? I so I did a workshop last weekend and there were two amazing women on it. And I got them to do this partner exercise where they were both facing each other. And I said, okay, can you practice? So we did like a connection exercise. And then I said, can you practice connecting into each other's soul and see what you can see? And we were talking about vision. So what's your big vision? Because often we get caught up in the little things because we don't fully trust ourselves to connect to our big vision. And I could see both of them were a bit like, they didn't think they could do it. They didn't think that they could trust themselves, that they could see in the other person what their vision was and that it was true. And the first woman did it. And what did she say? So she channeled an image to the other woman, and it was a love heart, and it was a midwife. And her whole self is all about cyclical living and taking care of women and being in a goddess. And then the other woman saw an apothecary wisdom and a tree, and they were both fucking bang on, and they did not know each other. They'd never met each other before, and it was about these women's vision. And it was the same. So like they were breathing, they're doing a connection exercise. This is how we met, hey? And we did the breathing exercise.
Yeah, me and you. I
Just like
know.
get them to connect. And then one of them started making noises, and neither of them had done light language before. And I said, just trust yourself. I said, just start, like, just imagine that you're talking, just allow sounds to come through and it will build. And then like they start speaking light language. And I share that because I see that so often. We always straight away we go, no, I don't trust ourselves. No, I don't know. And actually, like we do fucking know.
Yeah. So if you were to explain what I do, how would you explain what that is?
What you do?
Yeah.
Oh my God, babe. So it's like you have a laser into someone's soul, and you can see, so like it's like you can see not just their soul, you can see their shadows, you can also feel their emotions, you can see their trauma, you can see their gifts. It's like you can see and feel it all, and even in different lifetimes. It's mad. So it's like you can go into someone's whole field, their whole sphere, and you can see and feel the whole thing, and it's like a laser. You can go into it straight away, which is mad. So the magic of that with you, and you're giving me goosebumps, is I could come to you, you talk about trust, and like I could come to you and I could be completely off path, or I could be completely distracted, or I could be in a weird relationship, or it always comes back to truth, right?
Yeah.
And you would still be able to see it all. And that's your gift, babe. And I think that's why you're picking up on spirits and different things, because you haven't done ayahuasca, have you?
No.
But one of the gifts that I had in that was that you could see everything. So you could see numerology, you could see how things were connected in terms of digits. You could see how energy was moving around. You see different spirits, like you can see it all. And like you have that ability without the ayahuasca.
Do you know what? The more I embody that,
Yeah.
the easier and more powerful it becomes. It's almost like, oh, at the beginning, it would only be if somebody was in my presence. And then it went to if I see a photo of somebody. And now if I visualize that, not just person, I've done it with fetuses as well. Like if I envision the baby inside the mum, I can translate messages from the baby and what they need. It's all becoming really powerful in my mind. And it's interesting, isn't it, to home it in, turn it off, and know when to use it.
Yeah.
Because you know how you just explained all of that. I feel like sometimes I can just do it without even not knowing I'm doing it. And then I'm like, I'll be in front of people that maybe aren't believing or they're not in the spiritual realm of work. And I'm like, well, maybe they don't want to know this. Like, okay, rein it back in. But sometimes they'll be like, it's a burning sensation. And it's interesting that you use the word laser because it is like burn. I get a burning inside me if I don't release it.
And
Wow.
no, you're wow. And what I love so many things about you, but like what I love about you is you have a real your spirit is really pure, and it's not even, you don't have to, I understand you're multifaceted, multidimensional, but like you don't have to put on an effort to do something. Does that make sense? It's like you naturally know, okay, this is what this person needs in this moment, and I'm going to share it. I think before you've even acknowledged it sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In between dialect, like there's very much a knowing in you, isn't there?
Yeah. And I think when I have learned what I'm able to do over time, it's really heavily based on it starts with that visualization and then it's getting a feeling and then it's the knowing. And the three kind of pair together and then hold a space for it's almost like an outer body experience, because I actually go into somebody else's energy. And so that's how I know what they need, is because I'm not even in my energy anymore. Like I'm literally, I feel what they feel, I hear what they need to hear. I like can hear their thoughts. Some people so powerfully. And I also find that I've got some people that are really receptive to me reading their energy. And that means they're really connected to their spirit. Are they those people that maybe need to explore their own realm of what they're able to do?
Totally. Oh my God, yes. Because you
Yeah.
are activating them in terms of that. And they're my favorite clients. They're the people that I want to work with. I want to work with everyone, but where I feel like, and you must experience this as well, when someone's receptive, you've got an in, and then there's so much that you can work with, right?
Yeah.
And you can play, and it's mind-blowing for both of us, because what you were talking about before, it sounds like you can almost shapeshift. And I had a client who did that the other day, and I was like, oh my God. And
Wow.
yeah, everything is happening for a reason, right? Like, so when we met, it was an instant connection, and you could see a lot in me straight away, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So you could see a lot in me, and you have been, and I hope you always will be, I hope we're always like walking together. You've been able to help me so much. So I think all of these things are evidence that this is how it's meant to go, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So
And I always think this with clients. I do not put myself out there to like beg for a client. I want to call them in, because I'm like, they will come to me if they feel that it's right. And I don't want to work with people that don't feel it's right, because then the work won't work.
and it doesn't. Yeah.
So playful. Like every single time I speak to you, you make me feel like I've basically just had full acceptance, my inner child, my teenager, my adult, and you make me be just a really bright, wonderful version of every version of me.
Oh, I love you.
But it is.
Do you know, it's interesting because you were talking about trust, and what I've been struggling with at the moment, what's been coming through really strongly is my child is so strong. Like, and I'm not just talking about my inner child, because I've been doing a lot of shadow work lately. So like my child archetype. And obviously some people list, there's always a spectrum of an audience, right? I'm just thinking about people listening, whether they know what the Carl Jung archetypes are. But so my child aspect is the part of me that is distracting myself from my mission at the minute, and that's coming through really strongly, because like the gift in this childlike part of me is that like I'm flowy, and I like to have fun, and I like to play, but it's also been a real challenge, because I also don't like to do the washing up, don't like to do my coursework, like, and like all the shit which I need to do so that I can get myself out there and help people. It's often a battle, because there's very much a child at play that just wants to do whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah.
So, like, thank you for sharing that in terms of the gift, because it is, but it's also been quite a stopper for me.
Yeah. Okay. So that's showing some shadow there for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
But do you think, like growing up, were you told to study lots, or to that you had a direction created for you already?
So not really. It's a bit of a weird one. Because I got a big family, and one of six, right? And I'm number four in
Yeah.
six. So it's not,
Okay.
it's very different being an only child, and your parents are like, okay, we've got these dreams and these wishes for you.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, like there was definitely like oh, if you do good grades, and if you're good at science, like this
Yeah.
is, so I knew
Solid.
that. Like, yeah.
It's so funny though, isn't it? Because so many people will be listening, and they will have been brought up by people that go, if you get good grades, you'll do well in life. And it's like, that's not reality.
But that has only shifted quite recently. When we were at school, it was kind of like, I feel like it's across the board. It was quite a generic thing, wasn't it, growing up? If you're good at science, if you're good at maths, you know, if you end up being an engineer or a doctor, like winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. But it's like you need those basics, but it's like there is so much more out there that you have to know and just be. And I don't almost know if we're shown to be that other side. So you know the side that you is really powerful in you and that you love and that I love. And then you've got that like really tricky side where you're like, oh, there's so much trickiness there because I really don't want to do this and it's resistant. It's almost like schools don't encourage the play side.
Yeah, and it would always piss me off. So I would always,
Yeah.
because I was going
Yeah.
to say that. I think it was less parents because I feel like I had quite a lot of freedom to do what I wanted to
To
do.
be.
But the system, I think a lot of it was the system.
Yeah. And then the parents have to work with the system. And then how are you supposed to do that? If you want to be like bringing your child up to be playful, how can you then work with the system that isn't playful? But vice versa. Like if the system is trying to teach somebody that you have to do those admin tasks, and then your parents are just playful and they don't encourage you to do those other ones, how does that then align?
Yeah, it's such a funny one, isn't it? How it
It's a
plays out.
balance.
Because it's also when your gifts aren't nurtured and when your playfulness isn't nurtured or respected. And I do think that's changing now because we're championing artistry now, aren't we? It's like, oh, I like it's really cool if you're getting good at your music. But I feel like when we we're at school, that wasn't really encouraged. And it was kind of
Yeah.
like I also had this belief that unless you were insanely talented at something at 3, then you were just mucking about. It wasn't a real thing. So then
Yeah, that is so true.
it's all that bullshit. It's just like, but anyway,
Oh,
managed to turn that all around. But thank you. I love that I am playful. Like I like that about myself.
yeah, it's incredible. What kind of gifts do you see then? Like, because there are going to be people, like you said, that are listening and they're going to be like, I don't know what they're talking about. And like I've shared what I'm able to do. You literally are insane at just blowing everybody's capacity up. It's insane. But when you work with people, what other things could they be doing that maybe they don't even know that they're doing?
And this is what I love. So I love to meet people. You know, you're talking about you have an in everyone. And the more I do it, the more I see it in everyone because some are more obvious than others, right? So usually I will get a sense. So you said visual. I'm not visual, so I don't see. So it's interesting in terms of gifts. Often when people think about gifts, and they'll ask me at the end of a session, they'll say, what did you see? And it's like, I did see in a spiritual sense, but I didn't see anything. It's not like I saw a castle or a queen or anything like that. I don't see images. So I will get a feeling and a knowing that someone's got something kind of magic going on or that wants to be expressed. And sometimes that will be really obvious. Sometimes it's about getting intentional. So it's about getting in a ceremonial space. So I love working with people one-to-one or in like a focused group. So how your gifts would come through are when you start to connect. And what I mean by that is, say if we were in a session now, we'd close our eyes, we'd ground, we'd breathe, we'd intentionally choose to connect in. And even as I start to say that, I can feel you more,
I
right?
know, and I'm like, I really want to do this.
I know, well, maybe we can. Okay, so, okay, let me be clear because there's so many different ways. But if we were to connect in, so some people like me, I would start to feel energy very quickly. I'd start to feel my own. I'd start to feel what was happening with you. Some people might start to pick up on emotions. You spoke about that. So you might start to pick up on someone else's energy body. Some people will pick up on a lot of light. So they'll feel really high as they connect in. Some people get voices. They'll very quickly get downloads. Some people will chat with loved ones. Some people will call in spirits. And like there's so many different ways that our gifts can be expressed. Like I know a guy, I did a session with him a couple of months ago, and he said, "Can we swear on this, babe?"
Yeah.
he said, this is so fucking weird. He said, because I was just sat, I wasn't actually with him. He said, you're cuddling me right now. He was like, I can feel your body cuddling me right now. And then he could feel that I was like touching his head and I was doing, and like I wasn't doing anything, but he could feel that my soul was shape shifting. So this is why I love, love, love coming together in these spaces, because once you're in an intentional space, I think play is so important, because he didn't know that he could do that. So
Mm.
one way that gifts are expressed, and these are all gifts, so they're all extrasensory, magical, soul gifts. And how do you know that they're soul gifts? They make you feel excited. They give you extra intel. It's like extrasensory information. Um, so that's one thing. Once you start to play, your strongest senses will come through. And another way is going back to childhood. So what I always say to someone, a very common thing someone will say, you know, when they say, oh, what do you do? And you give a spiel. And they'll say, oh, well, I'm not like that. And I'll say, yes, you are. And then I'll
Yeah.
say, what, like, what weird experiences did you have during your childhood? And I've never met anyone that hasn't had a weird experience. So, a weird experience, right? So
Yeah.
you know, they'd have been visited by someone, or they had an imaginary friend. I had a woman the other day who I met on a corporate who was doing the tech to prep for the tech. And she said that, and she was like, oh, no, 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 like nothing magic. And then she said, actually, she said, when I was a kid, I had this imaginary friend, and like she had a name, I would follow her around. This was an island, like she had this imaginary friend. And then she said, what was so weird was that she found out after having this imaginary friend for a few months that this friend had died. She'd been murdered in the area. And like she didn't know, but once she found out, it was the same age, a name, it was the same age. She looked exactly the same. And I was like, so you do have a gift. And her grandma could telepathically communicate. Telepathy is another huge one. So if you go back to childhood, it's actually really obvious some of the gifts that come,
Yeah.
and others come throughout time, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's how much do you want to know it? How much do you want to see it? Because everybody has a gift. I really do believe that. And that's why I love emotional awareness work, because I think when people can pull out those emotions that aren't even theirs to carry, they can then heal the emotions within them. And then when they do that, they have such a deeper access to what we're talking about, because emotions can cover it up. Like, I don't know if you've ever found that when you've been in like quite an emotionally turbulent time, your gifts kind of go quiet. And then you're like, no, no, I don't want this. Come
Yeah.
back to me.
I mean, massively.
Yeah. So I feel like the thing people should do is work with that emotion. Oh my God, I remember, like, oh my God, both of us have had crazy experiences together. Like, obviously, the first time we met, we were doing that gazing and you were roaring. I thought you were I hope you don't mind me sharing.
No, no, no,
Um,
go away. It's funny.
but I was like, wow, she's a cheater. Like, she's ready to go. Like, she is pumped. She's roaring. Like, and I remember we were in like a circle and it was six in the middle and six on the outside gazing into each other's eyes. And you worked your way around the circle, spending a bit of time with each. And that, for example, I sat against one man and I saw my dad, and I was like, you need to allow yourself to be loved so you can love others. And then like the next person was, I thought she was like my younger sister, and I was like, babes, you need to play, like get out, like let's go party. And then like I was like coming around to you, and I was like, fuck, shit, can I hold this? Like this is heightened energy. And I remember like tapping into myself, and I was like, right, fully body, like you're gonna hold. And I came over to her, and I was just like, I know you. I know you. Like, you're not scary. You're just like, you just got to roar. Like, let's roar. And we just like cried and like hugged each other. And we were just like, it's okay. We've got each other.
That was such a cool moment, wasn't it?
It was amazing. And then I came to your retreat not long ago, and I had, well, your friend explained it as nasty energy, which was really weird because the experience that I had just had, the person actually described it as you need to be nasty sometimes. So then when she came up with that word, I was like, okay, this is aligning. But in that session, didn't I roared. I like needed to release that
Yeah.
upset and anger from within. We've just experienced such crazy times together, haven't we?
I feel we have, and I feel like what you said hit the nail on the head. Just before that, you were saying it's really important to understand which emotions are yours and which aren't, and then
Mm.
is that as well, because it can definitely all get entangled. And then you've got ancestral as well, so it's like even like things from your lineage and relationships and da, da, da. And I feel like for you that is also one of your gifts, and that's also been part of your journey, because you feel people's emotions and you're empathetic and you want to help. So it's also like I felt like when you were at that retreat, you'd got a lot of other people's emotions in there as well, and like you just needed to release that.
Yeah. It was like, oh, this is funny. I don't know why it's just come through to me like this, and I've never thought about it like this. But it's like you haven't filled out. It's like you haven't cleaned out your fish tank for like months, and it's got that grim bit at the bottom, and you're like, right, let's clear it all out. That's so gross.
Do you know what though? Like, yeah, it is gross, but don't most people walk around like that?
Charlie, that's why I would actually love to live in London, maybe like more greenery London, maybe like Clapham, but I can't because I absorb energy. And in London, I can't spend time there. I just become a shadow of other people's emotion. Like
Yeah.
I have to have, and I even felt it in Bali. I felt I was taking on so many people's emotions, not even people I know. Like I remember I was sitting in this cafe, and as soon as this girl came in, I went like, and I could feel it like straight away. And I was like, oh, she's grieving. She's grieving. And then like she sat next to me and she was like telling her friend, sorry, this is what I mean. I feel like they're sometimes telling me and they're not. She was telling her friend that her mum had passed away. And then I had to learn after that, right? I need to learn to control this. How do I turn it on? How do I turn it off? I spent months after that training myself. Turn it
So
on, turn it off.
how do you do it? How do you do it?
Um, so there was a time for about a month where I felt quite depressed because I felt disconnected. The first part of it was okay, to get this out, I have to be alone and I have to really deeply connect with myself, my emotion, my body. And then I slowly integrated back in around people. Some people I find it really easy. I'm like, yeah, that's their emotion, that's my emotion. Some people I find it a lot harder, and that's often when I've had past mirroring. So like if I see a lot of myself in somebody, it's really hard for me to, and that's why I feel grief in people quite heavily, because I'm like, I have grieved and I know that feeling. So I can like, I'm receptive to it really quickly. So I started to integrate myself around those people that I knew I found it harder to turn on and off. And around those people, I had to be like constantly in my head, in your body, in your body. You're in your body. What's your emotion? How are you feeling? What's the feeling that you have? Okay. Like observe. That's their feeling. That's not yours. And then like when I started to do that, I started to actually recognize as well and observe even their feelings. I was like, is that their feeling? That's not their feeling.
Oh,
Ah,
layers.
that's that person's feeling. Oh, okay, so it's definitely not my feeling. And then my work started to expand, and then I started getting clients. So that was the month that I then got like 5 clients, because I was like, oh, I am now understanding what I'm doing. So other people are drawing in.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
That is so powerful, because it feels like you're talking about quantum entanglement, right? So it's like all of this, but then you've had the ability to have this discernment and this space. And how powerful is that? Because then you're able to hold yourself, hold the other person, and be able to discern what's happening with their energy. And then it's like, as soon as you manage to separate it all out and understand your whole world,
Yeah.
that's your power, right? So that you can see.
Mm.
Once you, like, when you're like this, you can't see, can you?
No, no. And I think, you know, that like fish tank we were saying about like people around at the moment, I think it's more actually to do with people can't see clearly because they've got so many heightened emotions. Like, we're living in quite a turbulent time. So people have a load of turbulent emotions and they don't know how to feel them, process them, let them go. Because what, like, let's be real, not even 40 years ago it was encouraged to actually talk and feel. And then people can't see clearly, and then they're, because they can't see clearly, they're projecting and reacting and passing the emotions on so much and so quickly that then we've then got loads of people that just can't see clearly. And I think that's why my program's called Clarity and Connect, because you cannot connect if you don't have clarity. How are you supposed to know what you want to connect with that person in? How can you like speak and communicate clearly? And how can you even know who you want to be connected to?
Yeah.
Like, clarity, clear it out.
Yeah, clear it out. And yeah, that's huge, isn't it?
Mm,
Because you know what it feels like when you feel distracted.
mm. I feel like you're having a moment where you're like, ah,
Oh,
don't
this is
you?
like real time.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of having these kind of conversations with people that activate you and light you up. I think it's so important because you grow so much faster, you learn so much faster in real time because you're having that kind of pace of conversation where things land.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
whereas like when you're not clear, and you know what this is like. I was thinking about a dinner I had the other day, and I could feel like all the emotions going on. I know so and so is stressed about this, and so and so is like worrying about their job and blah, blah, blah. And these connected conversations aren't happening.
No.
It becomes hard work because everyone's got their own loop in their head. There's no
Mm.
clarity there. You're not actually connecting. It's quite draining.
Yeah. And do you know, I think one of the key things of that is, how curious are you? Like, if your talent is expanding somebody's capabilities,
Mm.
if they don't want to know what they're capable of, they will not be able to know. But if they're not curious about themselves, they can't be curious about other people. And I think that people have almost got so scared of being who they are, true, and speaking in case their opinion is not the one that the receptor's going to like, that they don't even ask questions to know, because they haven't been met with that compassion that they might then need to show that person if they don't like the answer to the question they'll ask.
Yeah, so it's this is what you're really good at. It's regulation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can't regulate yourself, then you're going to be scared to go outside the box and do something different.
Yeah.
Because if you get a reaction, like the one that comes to me straight away is conflict, it makes me go,
Okay.
so what am I trying to say? So say if I wanted to like connect to my gifts fully, right?
Mm.
It means stepping in your power. It means like not stepping in. Stepping in is a bad word, not a bad word. I don't think it's the right word. Holding yourself in your power. You were talking about this, right? I
Mm.
want to hold myself in my power. And if I want to be curious and explore my gifts, people are going to react differently. And one of the reactions that would scare me, for example, would be conflict, if it creates conflict.
Yeah.
So I struggle to regulate myself if I don't trust myself, like, okay, I'm going to piss Sina off and she's going to get annoyed at me, and then I'm not going to be able to regulate and it's going to freak me out and I'm going to shut down.
Yeah.
Stop me from being curious about my gifts. So what do? I stay small, I keep going, and I don't do anything that's going to make that happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah. If I was talking to you in Let's Expand, like, I'm going to encourage you to glow. Show yourself compassion for the version of you that was never met with understanding. Because where do we hold space for conflict? Like, there's healthy conflict and there's unhealthy conflict. We've had conversations where I would say we've had conflict, but it's been healthy. Yeah, but you don't even know it because it's been healthy conflict. When I've challenged you on opinions or feelings or emotions, I've done it a lot with relationships. That's healthy conflict. What you're used to is being met with unhealthy conflict, where it's quite maybe brash, aggressive, not compassionate.
Yeah, you are so right. Because actually, conflict doesn't bother me when I feel safe around someone. I would absolutely have any conversation with you. You could ask me anything. We could talk about anything. We could disagree on anything. That wouldn't freak me out. But if I knew that someone had a temper, that would freak me out.
Yeah. And that's just safety. Like, also thank the Lord that you are like that, because if you didn't have that, you wouldn't be safe.
But what I don't like is, okay, so I know someone's angry, right? So I will bend to their needs. Then I'm not being authentic.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So no, that's boundaries. That's then going, okay, because I have so much compassion for myself, I know that I'm worth more than this, and I'm not going to compromise my happiness and my self-respect for your needs, because you can't hold space for your anger within yourself. So I share my compassion with you, but I'm just going to hold you there because you need to hold this anger for yourself so you can learn from it. Because actually, when we take that from the other person and we take their anger on and we bend ourselves for them, we're basically taking their lesson away from them to be a better person.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to regulate, right? Because
you've got to be able to regulate to do that.
Yeah.
But it's really, I do believe it comes from compassion. You will not be able to self-regulate if you can't show yourself compassion. Because what's the opposite of like compassion? It's like inflicting pain. So, and really being deregulated is being in like fight or flight, and that's painful. So you're basically saying, well, I deserve to be in this deregulated, painful state because that's what I'm used to. But you don't have to be that way just because you are now.
Yeah, so true. You're good at this.
I love you. You're amazing.
So are you.
We just bounce off of each other. I knew that you were going to be the best person to have a conversation with because it's just epic. And I so see everything within you that you're just incredible at. And also, because you see it in me and you highlight all of the best versions of me and me, I think it's just electric.
Yeah, and that's what's cool. And I meant to say that earlier because I think we can get caught up in this. So, okay, so we start our conversation, right? You talk about the gifts and you're like, I love that you're playful. I love da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking cool. What do I tell you straight away? I'm like, yeah, I've got a shadow to that. Okay? And then we're talking about emotions and we're like, yeah, most people aren't present.
I know exactly where you're going.
Because we don't spend enough time holding space for the gifts and activating it and getting excited about it. It's like, okay, like, what are we going to do with this? Like, how fucking cool is it that you found all those layers of emotion and you know how to go into someone's soul? Like, why are we not playing with that? So yes, it's like, yes, we want to know all the parts that are holding us back, and but it's also like we really don't hold ourselves enough in our light and how we shine,
Yeah.
seeing it and like glowing in it.
But we hold, everyone out there holds themselves so powerfully in their mental health being unhealthy, but they don't hold themselves in their glow. And it's like, I wish I could just get a fucking, what are those things? Like massive microphone that just blurts out sound. And I'll be like, if you struggle with your mental health, you have gifts to explore. Focus on the gifts.
Yes.
Because really, mental health is just a bigger knowing
Totally.
that is being suppressed.
Totally.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh. And I know I get annoyed at this myself because I do it too, you know, like I'm fallible. I get so annoyed when people get caught up in drama and everything that's wrong, and I can just see all this energy, and I'm like, oh, it's so sad. All this energy is just going here to this thing that you don't fucking care about, or this job that you hate, or like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's so sad because you're like this glowing, shining, like beacon of light, and you're just not using it.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. And also, it's not just, I think that's one side of it, right? It's exactly what you said, but I think the other side of that is people not talking and sharing their feeling to be that bold and expansive light.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's like, yeah, they're either going to like gossip or bitch or complain about work and this and that, but that's just hiding the actual depth of feeling and emotion that they truly feel and that feel too vulnerable to share, that's stopping them having access to that light because they're disguising themselves with all this fucking shit around them.
Totally.
Are
we about to change the world?
We are. It feels like it. I love this. Woohoo! Look, you make me feel like I'm high. But it's true. It's so true. There's so much more out there beyond people that needs to be seen and felt. And actually, on the episode before you, I was speaking to Grace and she was talking about ego, and ego actually being when you are so consumed thinking about everyone else is going to be thinking about you.
Yeah.
And that again is just a disguise, isn't it? I feel like we could now come off of this and just change the world, like you said.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you have these conversations and you're saying feeling high, I also feel high.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of chat that people would have on mushrooms, right? Or like on some kind of, because everything is quite simple in a way once you feel connected and once you feel connected to your heart. But oh my God, as soon as you get caught up in your head and fear and ego and everything else, everything becomes so.
Yeah. That's what I get loads of feedback on from clients is, you make this sound so simple. You make my emotions feel really simple. And I'm like, they are though. There are only 4 core emotions that lead to lots of other feelings and then thoughts. And actually, if I allow you to connect back to your heart, what I'm asking, like I just did with you, me asking you just to show some compassion to yourself, that's actually quite simple.
But it's such a head flip. As soon as you said that, you're talking about like going off on one. I'm like, come back to Zena. Is yeah, how often is compassion missed? And then when you're not holding compassion for yourself, or other people aren't holding compassion for yourself, you go down this rabbit hole, don't you?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
don't have compassion, then you do go down the rabbit hole of fear and complication and drama and
Yeah. I think a changing point in my life when I had like a mental health breakdown, and I had my paralysis, I did a meditation course for 12 weeks. And that's what basically integrated me into this realm of work. And something just switched in me, and I just said to myself, if they don't show compassion towards you, that's it. Don't accept it. And it wasn't like cutting them out. It was just going, this isn't what I need right now.
yeah, that's so powerful, because nothing that they do in that conversation is going to serve you.
Nothing.
It's because it's not for you. It's either against you, it's manipulation, or it's just all about them.
Yeah.
There's not connection there.
Yeah. And judgment, like so much unhealthy judgment. And judgment is normal for humans. Like we need judgment. Otherwise, like we wouldn't all be who we are. Like we would all think the same way, and that would be boring. But unhealthy judgment comes when somebody can't self-reflect. And I think without compassion, there will always be unhealthy judgment. And then I kind of think, I feel really sad for you that you can't hold compassion for yourself. So that means you can't hold compassion for me. And that's tailoring who you are and how you can connect to your heart.
Yeah.
And I think like I said earlier as well, we always lose. Oh, it's magic when somebody can connect to their heart. That's when they're going to heal and become a better person. And if you do surround yourself and don't say, do you know what, you're just not the right person for me right now, then you're actually taking that lesson away and that connection to their heart away from them.
I was thinking as well, it's actually not hard to connect to your heart. We know how to connect to our heart. We know how to connect to compassion. Like none of these things are actually hard, and they don't actually take that long once you have the awareness, to flip in. But as humans, it's one of the hardest things in the world to consistently not get derailed on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was thinking while we were talking, it's really random, but well, it's not that random. I was like, okay, so when you have mind-blowing sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I've not had it in a long time, but like,
now you're gonna call it in.
yeah, but it's not been in my arena for quite a while. But like when you have mind-blowing sex, it does not take long. It's that one moment where you connect in and your heart to heart and you're in, and then you play, right? How many people go through like their whole life or 7 years of a relationship and they never have mind-blowing sex, and the only reason that they never have mind-blowing sex is because they don't have that 10 minutes where they just connect.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of like sex psychologists will say is like foreplay is so important, because that's your connect, and then the intimacy of the act of sex is actually already there.
But even previous to that,
Yeah.
like genuinely actually feeling each other's soul, like when we did our like 10 minutes, doesn't even take 10 minutes. It does not take long. It's the same with your gifts.
Charlie, have I ever shared this with you about, and I'm now going to share it with the whole world if I haven't shared it with you before, but have I ever shared with you that time where, oh gosh, am I doing this? Me and Grace, we were like standing in front of each other, holding each other's hands. I don't even think we were holding each other's hands. We weren't. And we were just swaying and we were just looking at each other, and I had an orgasm.
Oh, I think you did. I feel like I've got a recollection.
And that was like a year into our relationship. And in the first year of our relationship, I had multiple different like epiphanies or like full body, mind, emotion experiences where I was like, this is the one, like this is incredible. The first one being in the water in the Caribbean. I remember we were both underwater and we were skinny dipping, and I just like, it was like a wave. It was like the wave rippled then through my body, and I was like, oh my god, this is my love, like wow. And then I like hit heavy and I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. But that was one of those experiences in that first year where it was like, keep throwing like a love bomb. It felt like love bombs of like, you are in this space for a reason. Because then, and it makes so much sense now, at the time I was like, shit, these like are coming through me. And then, you know, this last year there were so many past relationships or past traumas coming up in our relationship. And now I truly believe this, and I see it in clients working a lot with relationships, is you have to visit each other's shadows together to bond. And if you don't visit each other's shadows and you're not there in a space to hold compassion and love in those shadows, then that first year of feeling so much love is then unhealthy love bombing. It's not healthy love that you're being shown, because the love isn't there in the shadow time. It's only there when in the high.
Yeah, I've experienced that.
Yeah.
Both, actually. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So how does your work support you with that, do you feel?
Does my work support me with relationships?
Yeah, and like, you know, having those feelings of both, because I suppose you now are in a place of experiencing both where you can compare. And like me too, like my relationship before Grace, it was very much like love bomb and then suffocate, and like, I'm going to take you away, take everything good away, so then you know what it's like to not have anything, and then I can throw it at you again and it feels like love because I've taken it away from you and I'm going to give it back to you. So, and I know my work really helps me with it, because what I'm able to do now is to sit and go, is this my emotion or is it theirs?
Are you talking about romantic relationships?
Oh, I don't know though, because I think it could be with anything in life, couldn't it? Like, I also believe that the only difference between a friendship and my relationship with Grace is that I have intimacy with Grace and I have sex with her. But all of my closest friends to me, I can bear all to. I fully trust them with my soul. And I know that I would be there for them and they would be there for me at the end of a phone, no matter when I needed. And that's really the safety that you ask for in your relationship.
It's all one and the same, isn't it? Because we're talking about levels of consciousness. And as your consciousness changes, everything changes. I feel the same now. I was just thinking, I have a friend who, when did we become friends? Like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And I remember there were quite a few times where she would insinuate, and then I think she directly asked me at one point, she was asking me if I was a lesbian, because she couldn't understand like how close we were and like the intimacy of the closeness.
Yeah.
She didn't understand how that would not be sexual.
Yeah.
And eventually over time, like, it wasn't a thing anymore. But I remember there was a period of time where she kept questioning it.
Yeah.
She didn't.
And I think that's then interesting. It's like that curiosity we were speaking about. Were you curious into yourself in that moment? And maybe was she being curious into herself at that time?
Yeah, because
you
there's
know,
so many to it, right?
Yeah. And I've got friends that
have experiences like that, and then they're like, no, I'm definitely not gay.
Yeah.
I am definitely into the other sex. However, I appreciate my sex and I appreciate the female body, and I can still connect energetically with that person without them wanting to actually initiate sex,
Yeah,
and intimacy.
yeah, it's consciousness, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And like, we as humans are so unconscious sometimes, and our thoughts take over. But it's like, become conscious of everything that you are doing, saying, being. And if people like hyper focus on it, I think that it outweighs those thoughts eventually.
Yeah, it
Because
does.
instead of becoming obsessed with everyone else and what everyone else is thinking, they get so obsessed with themselves, it turns into an act of self-love.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go, mic drop, boom.
It's a good turnaround. It was like work, relationships.
Yeah,
It's really it's like staying in your power and staying in your love, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely.
Staying in the truth of who you are for as much as you can.
100% truth. And that's what I say to people. What I do is I channel truth. Like, yeah, okay, there might be systems to it of what I've explained to you, like visualization, emotion, and then this, but really the fundamental of it is I channel truth. If you want to know a truth, come to me. I will be able to channel it straight away for you. If you don't want to know your truth, don't come to me. Because I find it very hard where I don't want to morally, and my value is integrity. So if I, within me as well as someone else, if I see a truth and feel a truth, I have to act on it, because otherwise my body sends me signals. I will get twists of pain in my stomach, my heart will burn, my hair goes like oily, I get teeth ache, and like they'll accumulate. It will start with like, oh, my stomach feeling off, and then it will build up the more I don't listen to it. And so now I'm like, right, integrity, my number one value. I will show you the honest truth, and then it's your choice to be integral with that. If you want to be integral, cool, great. We're probably going to be best mates. If you don't, I cannot be around you, because my body will also pick up on the signals from you as well.
Yeah.
And I think like in the last year, I've had to separate a lot from friends from my past. And I think there were so many moments like that, and it was like burning, like, I don't want to do this, like my heart was like breaking, and I felt like I was grieving over and over again. But then I was like, integrity, are they being honest? Are they being true? Are they acting in alignment with their truth? I cannot do this for work, and I cannot be the person I want to be if I'm surrounding myself with that, because I think that what comes after like the honesty, the truth, the integrity is connection.
Yeah.
So if I'm preaching it, and I do, as I clearly have, even in our conversation today, I'm like, integrity. I need to just get a fucking foghorn. That's it. There we go. Need to get a foghorn, and we need to start.
Oh, was that the word you were going for, foghorn?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay.
And we'll be like, be integral with your gifts. Oh gosh.
I wish
There
we
we
were
go.
going to a workshop now or something. I feel fired up.
Yeah. Carry it through. I'm gonna. It was so lovely to have you.
Thanks so much for having me. Can we do it again?
Yes, absolutely. I think everyone is going to love it as much as I have loved it. So thank you so much.